Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a 2021 update of a watch that originally launched in 2017. This is the Tudor Black Bay Chronograph. This is the Panda dial that came out in 2021. In stainless steel, the watch is 41 millimeters in diameter with this strap that is underslung across the case back. It measures 15.9 millimeters thick. It is 50.1 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and it has a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. On my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference. It's large. Honestly, it's quite large. Although only 1 millimeter larger than a Daytona on paper, this watch wears more like a 43. Don't consider the two to be comparable. While they both have high style, screw-down pushers, and Rolex lineage, this needs to be regarded as a considerably larger watch. Think of it as a 43, and you start to get the idea of how it fits. I recommend a wrist of at least 15 centimeters of circumference to wear this. Again, my wrist is 16 centimeters. Hardware and software. Well, what at first looks like it might be some sort of a NATO strap actually works conventionally. It's a textile strap in black. It has little holes. The better to place a conventional pin buckle. We have the little Tudor shield logo worked into the shape of this counterweighted Clevis style buckle. You can see a combination of polish and satin, which shows good attention to detail. And then the hardware, the little strap minders, those are also satinated and polished pieces of steel rather than loops of fabric, which I like to see. It is underslung across the case back like a NATO, but you can't simply thread it through and remove it from between the lugs. So this is NATO-like, but not a true NATO strap. And it's actually easier to wear because of the way the buckle works. Polished case flank, a little bit of a bevel to remind us of the era when Rolex and Tudor cases were both shared between the brands and finished by hand, with that hand-finished bevel being a long-time signature. This is a machined bevel, but it is nostalgic all the same. The lug hoods are set and the case flank is polished, and as you can see, quite sheer. We have screw-down crown, screw-down chronograph pushers. As you can see, the watch is 200 meters water resistant like a Black Bay. We have a Tudor shield logo on the dial and the pre-1968 Tudor rose logo on the crown. Characteristic a lot of these Breitling-powered and Tudor-powered Tudor watches. They have a combination of the pre-68 logo and the post-68 logo. Yes, Breitling power. More on that in a moment. First, you can see a tachymeter scale. It is a anodized aluminum insert on a polished steel base. We have a cambered sapphire designed to look a little bit like a vintage plexi. The dial is silver white. We have a chaptering outboard for reading chronograph seconds, fractions of seconds, and minutes. The hands at center are Tudor snowflake sub-inspired, especially the hour hand. We have dished black sub-registers. The timepiece, of course, features applique indices, a little bit of an upscale that we wouldn't see on a vintage Tudor sub, but this is more of a what-if watch than a vintage Omad of any kind. What if there had been a Tudor Submariner that had been a chronograph? We may never know, but we know that this one is quite attractive. And yes, it is Breitling powered. Tudor calls this the MT5813, and to be honest, they do make it their own with some modifications, but it's basically a Breitling B01. So let's talk a little bit about what comes into play with the Breitling B01. Let me wind the watch so you can see it in operation. So Breitling B01 here has an automatic winding system with a 70-hour power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate. This is the 41 joule twin register version of the watch. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. It does have a hacking or stop seconds function. There is also a quick set so you can rapidly cycle the date. It has a vertical clutch and a column wheel. So in operation, the column wheel makes for crisp, satisfying feel, and the vertical clutch makes for seamless engagement with no jump or stagger to the seconds hand. Also, thanks to the vertical clutch, you can just leave the system in action full-time with no additional wear and tear. What changes does Tudor make? Well, significantly, Tudor adapts the Breitling movement to utilize a free-sprung balance architecture, which is great for precise adjustments, but also more shock-tolerant than the system that Breitling uses. Tudor also fits its anti-magnetic silicone hairspring in place of the metallic hairspring that Breitling uses on its version of this movement. So lots to love both inside and out. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.